Hey, what's going on everyone? Welcome back to the channel. This is KDK Kiodiekin, and in today's video review we will take a look at the brand new Radxa Palmshell Slim X2L. If you guys are familiar, several days ago I released my video on the other model, which is the Radxa X2L. However, this particular model has everything included, including a case, which most of you had already asked for. Now, this unit will retail for approximately $99 for the 8GB version with a 128GB SSD. If you do want to go with something a little bit larger, it is $125 for the same exact model, the Palmshell Slim X2L. That version will have a 8GB, 32GB eMMC included with 256GB of SSD storage. The most impressive thing about this particular unit, as you guys know, most of my subscribers and what I do is emulation and performance. And the benefit of this device is it is low cost comparison to performance in terms of what you will get. This is an x86 based processor using the J4125 Intel processor. It has 4 threads, 4 cores, has a burst limit of up to 2.7 gigahertz, and it has an Intel HD 600 graphics video card with a burst frequency of up to 750 megahertz. Now, some of you may be asking in terms of how does this compare to something like a Raspberry Pi 4 or some of the other single board computers out there on the market that may retail for about the same amount. The benefit is, again, this is x86 and it requires little to no development. Most of the time when you guys see a Raspberry Pi 4, Orange Pi, or something of that sort here, especially on the channel, there's a ton of development that goes into it. In fact, most of you guys may not be aware of this, but most of the images and builds that you guys see me working with approximately has a value of about $5,000 to $9,000 attached to it, which of course doesn't include the cost of the actual unit. But something like this is ready to go. You could use Linux x86, you could use install Ubuntu or a number of, or even Windows. This one is ready to go. Again, you will not have to set up or work with any drivers, and it does have the RP2040 Raspberry chip on here available. But primarily for a lot of this review, we will take a look at the drastic differences. I will show you my benchmarks and comparisons and give you my overall thoughts for this. However, if you are into emulation, gaming, anything of that sort, this board or this particular unit should be at the top of your list. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at it and let me know your thoughts. So here we have our first look and comparison of the Radxa X2L side by side with the Radxa Palmshell Slim X2L. Both of these are the same form factor. Again, they are the exact same board. I have the case taken off so that we can get a better look and comparison about how these boards compare to one another. We want to be a little easy with this one because the antennas from the module adapter are taped to the top of the case. All right, so this comes in a metallic, it's like plastic metallic thing. All right, let me put them over here. I'm not gonna pick this one up all the way because, again, let's put these side by side so you guys can see it. All right, both of these boards are identical. However, there were some improvements made to the Palmshell version. So as you can see, the company sent over this one with an additional thermal pad on the heatsink. This is the standard one that you get for $6.99 on the website. They both have two USB 3.0s, two HDMI adapters, one 3.5 millimeter jack, both on the same side. And as you can see, they both have the same replacement. This is the exact same board. We will verify the performance of it when we do some gaming and some other benchmarks, and make sure that they are the exact same performance. As you can see here, this is the Raspberry Pi 2040 chip here, but as you can notice, there's been one slight change to this, and they removed the GPIO connections here off of the Palmshell version. Now, I did measure this, and if you look very closely as to where the GPIO pins should be, they pretty much fall side by side or in line with the heatsink. So I know some people had, or actually one of the guys I was talking to earlier had a concern or was just wondering if you put the pins on here, would they interfere with the case? Now, you can buy the separate pins or buy the pins for an additional $5.99 and attach them on here. But again, where are you going to put it if you decide to get this this particular case? Now, I do believe on the company website they may have some custom cases that maybe some other users in the community have made. However, that's a specialty item, but you can buy a pack of these for about $5.99 and use the GPIO board, which is what a lot of people are really preferring. The cool thing is both of these have the same batteries. This one, again, came over for review. It had a battery. It had the Wi-Fi Bluetooth module adapter, which did take me some time to get set up here on the Radxa X2L. And the other improvement is that, before I move that, we both have 2 additional USB ports here on the end. So there hasn't been anything that's changed with that other than it looks like they changed the color. So we have 2 USB ports here, which are black. And then, of course, on this one, these are 2 USB 2.0 adapters, which are white. The company currently does not make any cases for this. I wish they would. I've talked to a few other guys. They said that was their only concern about it, is that it doesn't come with a case. But for this particular unit running at $99, you're really not going to miss out as much. Reason being is for $100 or $99, you're getting the Wi-Fi Bluetooth module adapter, which costs you $10. This costs you an additional $6 or so. And so again, relatively, they're all the same price. But again, this one also comes with the battery. So you're still looking at roughly about $89 to about $95 for the full package. And of course, that doesn't include the case. Additionally, when I took this or opened this, this is the thermal pad, which comes included. Oops, I don't want to break this off. I'll leave it there for right now. I don't want to pick it up or break it. But this is the thermal pad for the M.2 adapter there. So that came included. And then you also have this additional matte finish, which is some additional type of thermal pad. I definitely want to say I really haven't seen too many of these on single board computers, and I'm not going to pull this off. Believe this might come off here. You know what? I'm not going to mess with this. This is kind of taped on here, but I believe this assists with cooling. But really haven't had any heat concerns on the Radxa X2L, but considering that this company decided to put this in a case, they probably wanted to be a little cautious for heat. But those were pretty much the only changes on here. In addition to, I don't think you guys could see it on here. I think my button fell off. Let's see, I think I had to put the button back on here. Let's move it back over. Let's see, I think the button fell off. All right, I think the button fell off. All right, so the power button is the only other thing that comes on here. In fact, again, both of these units are modular. They are interchangeable. If I wanted to take the Radxa X2L and put it in this particular case, it would pretty much fit. All right, here it is. So the only other piece that is a little different is the power button. This is fits in here just perfectly fine, like so. So I can go ahead and put that directly back on the case. But all in all, as far as the same similar form factor, same similar design, they are there. I can't see or really tell a difference if they change the fans. The only thing that I noticed about the 2 fans is that my logo that I purchased on this one is a little bit flatted in terms of color. I left this on here, but I don't think that's really a plastic cover is really going to matter. But this looks like it's some type of upgraded fan just in terms of the actual sticker design, and that's really about it. But as far as the board itself, you guys can tell that they are the exact same placement. Now again, just as a quick size comparison, let me see if I can go ahead and hold these two. And then this is my iPhone 15 cell phone case. So you can see here that this is approximately the same size as the iPhone. Obviously, I can't have my phone in frame because I'm using it to record. But we have the same layout here. Again, this particular board doesn't have an eMMC storage. This one here has 32 gigabytes. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and get into some gameplay and some additional bench tests. You guys can check out the other scores that I left out the Radxa X2L particular video. And so let's go ahead and see how this one performs, because we've done a lot of performance with the Radxa X2L. So we just want to make sure we can confirm that they are functioning appropriately, or that the specs are pretty much the same. All right, so to assemble this is really simple. It has only 4 screws. They go on the sides. So we're just going to get this reassembled here, put it back together, and then do our performance and benchmark tests. Let's go ahead and pull our screws. So the first thing you want to do, this particular piece here keeps falling out. This is just the power button. I want to make sure I put this power button in the right side. I'm just trying to remember exactly what side it's on. Let's see, it's there where the light is. All right, so it should be here, right here by the fan. Yep, that's it. It's actually on the back side with the GPIO. All right, so this is the slot for this. This goes back in here like so. Let me get this hooked up and ready. Everything just kind of snaps in place. Want to make sure you're really careful with it. So let's go ahead and put on our screws. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we'll be good to go. All right, so as you can see, assembly for this is pretty much straightforward. I typically like to take my time when I assemble or disassemble these kind of items, because it didn't come with any form of instruction manual. You know, you just start putting a screwdriver in there and disassembling or something, and just hope everything kind of falls into place. The only thing that was really attached to the case were the antennas for the unit. And when I assembled this, it took me a couple of tries because the USB adapters or the USB plugs weren't aligning directly with the case. But again, that was a very simple fix, and also making sure that I had the power button where it needed to be. So those are pretty much the only 2 adjustments that I needed to make here. It should only take you about 2 minutes to assemble or disassemble this item. Okay, so now we're assembling the unit and hooking it up directly to my capture card and the monitor. We're going to do some performance and bench tests On the unit, we're going to test RetroPie X86, which I will show here on the channel here in the next few days. And additionally, we ran not only Geekbench, but I also ran 3D Mark just to kind of get an idea of what some of the scores are. Now, I know some of you had some issues with the Radxa X2L, primarily because if you're going to use this as a hobby or make sure you have it on your desk, you don't want to take a chance on possibly damaging something. So I know some of you were reluctant to maybe invest in the Radxa X2L because it doesn't have the case. However, since that has been fixed with the Palmshell, which is pretty much what you guys will see here from the test results, you are pretty much getting the exact same unit and you don't have that issue to worry about. This is fully protected all the time. You don't have to leave it in the box like I do in order to use it safely. All right, so first up, we have our Geekbench 6 bench test. I ran both the Radxa X2L and the Radxa X2L Palmshell using Windows and Linux to give you guys a better understanding of some of the performance results you should expect. Over here, we have a 379 1045 using the Radxa X2L. I did this test a few weeks ago because my original test results accidentally got erased or whatever the case might be, and I had to redo it. And then over here we have the Radxa X2L Palmshell running Linux at 397 1058. However, both of these units are pretty much running the same exact hardware. We have the same exact specs, even if you run Linux or Windows. However, if you guys are planning on using Linux 86, you will see a performance increase, as you will see here. On Linux, we have 397, and on Windows, we have a 380 1038 on the multi-score test. Here we have the comparison results, the exact same unit, the Palmshell Radxa X2L, in comparison with itself. One version is running Linux, the other version is running Windows. So as you can see, if you do run Linux, you will pick up some performance increases. I've also noticed this too when it came to Windows running Wii emulation. I was able to get some better performance out of this while I was using the Dolphin emulator on Linux. Again, for that, I was using RetroPie X86, which was made by the Supreme team, again, which you guys will see here in the next few days. But again, after running some of these results, I can confirm that these are the exact same boards. We have here the Intel Celeron J4125 processor. Both of them are running at up to 2 gigahertz, 2.7 gigahertz with one processor and 4 cores. And then of course you have all the same specs here. Again, both of these are using the 8 gigabyte model. So fortunately, when I did get my Radxa X2L in comparison, it was the same exact thing. So as you can see here, from a physical standpoint in the actual test result, as well as my emulation, comparing both boards, I can confirm that this is the same exact model. This isn't a company that's telling you that it's the exact same board, the same specs, and then you get some different test results. Now, when I did run my test, the only thing that I did notice on Windows was that the performance was a little different, and that was only because I probably had some additional browsers open as well as a Windows update. But all in all, these are the exact same boards, and so you're going to expect to get the same type of performance. Here's another comparison test here so you guys can see for your own results. And let's go ahead and pull up the Radxa X2L just by itself so you guys can have this to kind of compare it to. These are the test results here. On one side, we're running Windows 10. In fact, let's go ahead and remove this baseline. We want to make sure these test results are accurate. So let's go back to results. And we'll select the Radxa X2L. We'll set this as the baseline. And then we'll go back to results again. And then we'll select the Palm version, which... All right, so here we go. So we're only difference in maybe 1 point from each board. Again, this could have been a system or a Windows update, but all in all, we're getting the exact same results. Intel Celeron processor here, 2 gigahertz, Gemini Lake, same socket, 1090. We're getting the same cache on both sides. So again, we can confirm that these are the exact same boards. HTML5 browser here, PDF render. We're just getting some little slight differences in performance on the point section. Again, that's probably because of a Windows system update we have there. So again, let's move on to check out some of the emulation tests as well as some of the additional specs that I was able to observe during my performance test. All right, moving on to emulation, we have some Technopaired, we have Transformers, Human Alliance, as well as Contra. Again, these are some of the normal bench test and emulation systems that I've currently been using for some of these latest single board computers. I did notice that the speed is drastically a little different. In some of the games it runs a little bit faster or slower. I was also able to run Aliens Extermination, and so this is what you should experience or should expect now from a $40 all the way up to $120 mini PC. But again, this is something that you should kind of consider, and it definitely outperforms something such as a Raspberry Pi 5, and even in most cases it will run systems or games much better than a Orange Pi 5 as well. I know currently in the home arcade community there's still this drastic wonder about what can run what. You know, we have people selling boards for $50 all the way to $100. And in most cases, you're still not getting, in my opinion, what you should for your dollar value. But again, I know this unit, you can get the entry-level unit for $38 with the Radxa X2L, but this is what you should expect for this particular dollar amount. You should be able to run your low-end Technopairs, possibly even Ficate. I haven't tried that yet, but overall, all of your emulations, such as your Wii and PlayStation 2, should run fine. Of course, your N64, your Sega Genesis, your Sega Master Systems, all of that should be taken care of and should run flawlessly. Now, keep in mind when it comes to PlayStation 2 emulation, a lot of the games still will run. However, there's still some games that have some issues, such as Black, as well as Shadow of the Colossus. I've tried all my tinkering and what for the most part, but again, compared to your basic ARM single board computers like your Raspberry Pi 5 and Orange Pi 5 using Linux, you still will get a much better, enjoyable emulation experience out of this without having to do so much tweaking. So if you're wondering if you should invest money in this Radxa Palmshell X2L, my honest impressions and my honest thoughts are, heck yeah. You know, I'm glad they sent it to me. I'm glad I reached out to the company. I mean, in terms of what you're getting for the actual cost, you know, I understand a lot of you are probably looking initially at cost. Like you have your other mini PCs, you have your Raspberry Pis, you have your Orange Pis and so forth that are out there. But please keep in mind, from my perspective, because I work on a lot of RetroPie and emulation stuff, this does not cause me to pull my hair out. You know, when we get a single board ARM-based chip or board somewhere within this particular price range, we put a lot of work into it, a lot of months of testing and development. This right now requires no development with Batocera. If you have Batocera and it works on your PC, you can take that image and automatically load it up on here, and you will expect the type of results you typically would from this type of chipset. Again, I loaded on a bunch of ROMs, even the adjustments that I made on the Raspberry Pi 5, a lot of them transferred over. In terms of PlayStation 2 emulation, it just worked. I didn't have a lot of the games that you guys have maybe seen here on the channel that required a lot of optimization and still didn't run. They worked on here. But, you know, all in all, if you're using this to type up documents, if you wanted to slap this in your backpack, ladies, your purse, if you want to put it in your pocket, then this is really a no-brainer. I mean, it's great, it's portable, it's fully encased in a perfect housing. 2 HDMIs for 4K video display, 2 HDMI 3.0s, 2 HDMI 2.0 adapters, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. I mean, it has the bells, it has all the whistles and everything that you typically should expect. And again, this is ranked one of the top single board computers for 2024. I know a lot of you devs I've already spoken to are planning on getting one of these. So let me know what your thoughts are below in regards to this video. Let me know if you're planning on getting one of these. Again, $125. It's an exceptional price. I know in the home arcade community, you have a lot of people pushing out stuff that's either more expensive or things that still require more development, and you really aren't going to get what you want in terms of performance, in terms of emulation. But if you're planning on using this as a desktop, web browsing, cloud gaming, I will also have to say too that I've had better experiences on some of the other boards using wireless cloud gaming. When I was playing Gears of War 4, it was a little sticky, hiccupy a little bit. I plugged the Ethernet cord in and it ran perfectly fine. Again, that's something else I could probably test, but those are my only takeaways. And again, I had some issues with the Radxa X2L as far as the getting the wireless adapter and also the M.2 slot. It did not come with the M.2 screw. I know it's something a little small and minor, but you know, again, it didn't come with it. But again, they have that thermal heat pad on the heatsink. This is a phenomenal board. You will not go wrong with it. This is one of the boards I will say that is future-proof. I can't say that a lot about a lot of single-board computers that are out there, because you can get them, and then you're wondering, is there going to be any development? There is no development you really need for this. The entire library, entire host of Linux x86 and also Windows x86, as well as some of the other operating systems, are entirely available to you, ready to go. So if you're not familiar with single board computers, if one of those things such as, well, I'm really optimistic about getting an Orange Pi 5 or a Raspberry Pi 5, I'm not familiar with, you know, waiting for development and so forth, you do not need to wait for any of those things to happen. It's ready to go for you. This is very user friendly, very simple to integrate into any of the programs or development issues or uses that you have with this. And if you already have a Raspberry Pi 5 or that power supply will work for this. I know Radxa sells a specific power requirement for this, but if you already have one of those, then you can already use this as well. And I've also ran this off of my portable battery adapter. This will run perfectly fine off of an external battery if you're into portability. So with that being said, please like and subscribe, share the video, let me know what your thoughts are below. Of course, I will be back with more tips, tutorials in regards to this board, as well as several other products. And again, Radxa, thank you for reaching out and sending this product over for review. I will catch you guys later. Peace out. Bye-bye.